Hi students, today we are going to discuss about financial management. All these things are we already learned what is financial management, what are the importance of financial management, what are the objectives of financial management. Here I am going to refresh about the details we studied earlier. The first chapter we studied about financial management, meaning, nature, scope, importance, profit maximization, wealth maximization, etc. I am giving a brief discussion about what we studied earlier. The first chapter we discussed about the financial management, that is the procurement of cash and the effective management of cash. There are different methods a company can raise fund, or the state can raise fund, or an organization can raise fund. Then not only raising the fund, but the effective utilization of fund, that is financial management. It is the duty of the financial manager to effectively manage or utilize the fund we collected. That is financial management. Then we studied about profit maximization, wealth maximization, etc. These are the basic objectives of financial management, the profit and wealth maximization. Then the scope of financial management, etc. These are the topic we discussed in the first chapter. I am not going into the details because the we have conducted an exam and Mark is with me. So I am not discussing about first chapter in detail. The second chapter we discussed about the capital budgeting. The capital budgeting means the effective utilization of long-term fund. How we can utilize long-term investment or long-term fund the most effective manner. There are different methods for this purpose. These methods are broadly classified under two categories, that is traditional method and modern method. The traditional methods are payback period method and accounting rate of return method. And the modern method, net present value method, internal rate of return method, and profitability index method. First of all, we are going to discuss about the first two methods, that is the payback period and accounting rate of return. As we know, payback period means the minimum period required for recovering the original investment. The formula is original cost divided by annual cash inflow. Project with the shortest payback period will be given highest rank. That is the criteria used for selecting the project in under payback period. But in accounting rate of return method, that is ARR method, we are considering the accounting profit. In payback period, we are considering profit before depreciation after tax, but in accounting rate of return or ARR method, we are considering the accounting rate, that is profit after depreciation after tax. Here, ARR method, the project with highest ARR or accounting rate of return will be given highest rank. Then the modern methods are net present value method, profitability index method, and internal rate of return method. First is net present value method. Here we are considering the present value of money. The base is 1 rupee earned today is more worth than 1 rupee earned tomorrow. So the formula used for net present value method is present value of cash inflow divided minus present value of cash inflow minus present value of cash outflow. If cash inflows, the present value of cash inflow is greater than that of the present value of cash inflow, present value of cash outflow, the project is accepted. So the project with highest present value of cash inflow will be given highest rank. Next is profitability index. It is almost equal to NPV method. In NPV method, we are taking the difference between the cash inflow and outflow, considering the present value. In profitability index, we are taking the ratio, present value of cash inflow divided by present value of cash outflow. That is the ratio 1. If ratio is, if the answer is more than 1, we will accept the project proposal. Then next is IRR, or internal rate of return. In internal rate of return, we are considering the internal rate of return, or IRR. If the internal rate of return IRR is greater than the cost of capital or required rate of return, we will accept the project proposal. There is a formula for calculating the internal rate of return that we studied earlier. Okay, that is about capital budgeting. Next chapter is working capital management. All of you know about working capital. Working capital means the amount required for day-to-day operations of the business. We studied about the working capital cycle. Then the formula for working capital is current asset minus current liabilities. In working capital, we are mainly dealing with cash management, inventory management or stock management, and receivables management. In cash management, we are studying how the cash is to be managed, cash inflow and outflow. What are the methods used for accelerating cash inflow and delaying the cash payment? Then the cash budget. We studied the cash budget. There is a chance to come one problem in cash preparation of cash budget. Then receivables management. We studied about how the receivables is to be managed, the factoring service, etc. Next is the inventory management. Inventory management, we studied about different stock levels, keeping different stock levels, minimal level, maximum level, reorder level, danger level, etc. So the working capital management mainly includes cash management, stock management, receivables management, that we all studied. Next is capital structure theories. I think in the March we were discussing about the capital structure theories, net income approach, net operating income approach, Modigliani and Miller approach, that is approach. All these things we are discussing. The first two, that is net income and net operating, we already discussed. Anyway, we will discuss again in future. Next is the cost of capital. We have a very little idea about this cost of capital in the capital budgeting chapter. In the capital budgeting, while calculating the internal rate of return, we are considering the internal rate of return and the cost of capital. Like that, in cost of capital, we have to consider the cost of each capital element, that is cost of equity, cost of debt, cost of preference share capital, cost of retained earnings, etc. That we will discuss in future. Then the leverage, the financial leverage and the operating leverage. I think the financial leverage we already discussed, that is trading on equity. Financial leverage means use of fixed interest bearing securities and preference share capital along with equity. Then for what purpose we are applying this leverage? It is for getting more profit or earning more EPS, earnings per share, and reducing the cost of capital. Effective utilization of financial leverage will help the financial manager to get more profit for the effective working of the enterprise. That we will study in later. The next last chapter is uh, dividend decisions. Here we are discussing about the types of dividend models, Wattage model, Gordon's model, etc. So around 80% of the portions we covered. Remaining 20% we will discuss in the later days. Once again, thank you.